Yes.
Item 5, unfinished business, have none. Item 6, new business. 6A, discuss and action on Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority Certificate of Compliance.
Okay, I started receiving a bunch of emails as this came down from other county clerks trying to figure out how to handle this, so I sent those emails to Ashley, and that was almost 2 weeks ago, and asked her to come up with something for the county, tell us how to handle this, which office, give us more information, and she started working on it. I received the affidavit, she asked me to put it on the agenda for this Monday, but I received the affidavit on Friday, and as Shannon and I were talking, there's some questions that we still have for her before you guys approve it, because on both of our sides, it says that the chairman has to approve, but the affidavit shows no place for the chairman's approval. And so that would be our first question as to where that's kind of coming, because both of our emails are kind of headed in the same way. And so I'd like to have the opportunity to kind of talk to Ashley a little bit more and maybe pull her in with the emails that Shandy has from the assessors across the state and see, because when she first initially talked to me about it, what I was understanding we would be getting is a set of defined instructions as to how to, what need to be taken and what steps need to be taken in order to get them what they need. And that's not quite what we have. So I'd like the opportunity, if you guys don't mind, one more week for Shandy and I to have the opportunity to talk to Ashley and make sure that this is exactly what we need.
Kay showed me an email over there that come from Gene Wallace, the executive director of ACO, that they've approached this place here, the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, asking them for some guidance or some questions.
I think it's pretty much the same question across the state. How do you want us to handle it? I mean, that's the same consensus I've gotten from all county clerks.
Same as the assessors. I mean, it's like how do you go forward? So.
Exactly.
But motion to table until we get more information from the.
And this is working out the regulations to the local?
Dr. Joe.
Is there a county regulation on growing facilities outside the city limits? Is it licensing fees, that kind of thing?
Not that I've been aware of.
Can there be? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's what
That's something that we're going to have to check in
Yeah,
on.
that was something I also talked to Ashley about. She's gonna have to look into it to see if it's even legal that we charge that fee. And so,
And how much is the fee?
Because the way I
We don't know. We're all new.
it's all brand new.
should be.
The way I understood it, it's got to be approved by the law enforcement authority for it to go in. It's got to be inspected for security and those stuff. So if we don't have a licensing fee, how's the assessor going to know where it is, or the sheriff?
We are supposed to sign off on it, but we're trying to get the information on who actually signs off on it, so that way they know. And then, yes, they will get their business through our
From
office.
what I understand, when talking to the people that actually do that, is if we don't have a standard or a license, it falls to the state then, and they have to go to the state standards. If we don't have it.
We do receive a printout from the state of everyone that has applied for a license in the state of Oklahoma, or in Nowata County. We already have that list that we're working off of.
I think what, eventually after you talk to Ashley, I think you guys need to set some standards so you can start collecting fees and possibly collect taxes off the sales. That it could be a pretty good chunk of money for the county.
Yeah.
What is the city doing?
We have regulations, yeah. We're already receiving taxes off places in the city limits.
Off the grow yard?
Hmm?
Off the grow yard?
Dispensary.
Dispensary, yeah.
Yeah. But I believe they just had a special meeting a couple weeks ago. They were talking about a grow going in out at the airport, a big one. So, I don't know.
So this will allow the county to tax the dispensaries in town or just grow yards in the county?
Both, well, we have
Both.
both.
Oh, I know that there's a grow going in across from from the vet's office, from
Yes.
Dr. Reed's office, on the north side. That gentleman came in and spoke to me about that.
That's Johnny, by the railroad tracks on Scoop Cooper. He's rented his shop
That's
out
going to be a pretty good size.
to a guy out of
operation.
Tulsa. So there's one right there. And I mean, this guy, I stopped him on his way to his business, and he said he's gonna have armed security there and everything, so.
Who would?
The way I look at it, if they can afford all that, they can afford to pay taxes to the county and the city.
That's correct. Well, what I was worried about is if, from what they say, where it falls to the state regulations and permits, if we don't have it, do we lose that to the state by not having it for them?
Yes, I'd say
I
you
would,
do.
You know, so if we're not regulating, the state's gonna make them pay them to regulate them, which would be a loss for our, so just, that might be some work for Ashley. I don't, you know.
Our concern is seeing the grows out in the county that are accessible to children. They're just out in the open, and we know that they are allowed to have 12 seedlings and 12 plants, but there's no fence around them, so we're not clear on the law there yet.
Our city ordinance states that it has to be a 6-foot fence, cannot be seen from the public, from visible to the public, from a roadway, has to be in a 6-foot fence, has to be locked and only accessible by the owner. That's what our city ordinance is.
But at this point, it's only for
Yes.
the city and the city ordinance, correct?
Yes.
For the county.
Pardon me?
We're allowed to make, for the county like that.
Where did the city, how did the city come up with their ordinance?
That's something that John Heskett came up with. It came up somehow off the state, what the state allowed municipalities to do. And it may be the same for the county, I'm not sure.
So that's what I was wondering, there ought to be some guidelines that Ashley could look in through the state to see what their recommendations are on that, that we can incorporate into it, so.
I'll run the conversation and see what we can come up with by Monday.
Who would, if you do start doing these licenses, who would do the inspections? Would it be a law enforcement?
No, that'd be us,
The assessor's office?
the assessor's office, with chief.
Or the sheriff.
Yeah, one or the other.
So we would be an assessor in conjunction with law enforcement?
That's how the other counties do it, but we'll just have to talk that out. Yeah, we're just gonna have to find our own system there.
I suspect the sheriff can tell you every place there's marijuana in
I'm
Nowata
sure
County.
she would.
We set all these ordinances before it actually went into effect. John was on top of it before it went into effect. And we've already had some people that weren't in compliance. They thought they could just throw them right out in their backyard and you can see them, but unfortunately for them, they don't have them anymore.
Sounds like a broad conversation that we need to talk with Ashley and probably keep the assessor and the sheriff's office probably need to be involved in the conversation as well with it.
John Heskett and Ashley talk back and forth city-county business, so I'm sure she could contact him. And I mean, he represents, I think, 8 or 9 cities, so he's on top of all that stuff.
And not to prolong this, but the city has zoning ordinance, the county does not.
We
We
do.
need to make sure Ashley is aware that Nowata County does not have zoning ordinance.
Yeah, because I don't think you can have a grow inside the city. You maybe possibly can, but you can't in a residential area. So,
And she's aware that we don't have zoning laws, she is. And so that's where the conversation, which most of the counties in the state don't have zoning laws. So, it's be a big question.
You seem to be more concerned about putting fences up just tall enough to keep the deer out.
yeah, the deer love it. Seriously, deer and cattle both.
Item B, discuss and take action, Joe Harper application for permit. Pipeline crossing across east-west 26.
What kind of pipeline?
2 inches.
Water. Okay. I got a call on that. I think it's out east.
2-inch poly pipe, it'll be in 4-inch steel casing. Across east-west road 26.
That's the one they've already. It's kind of like yours last week. Just
Yeah.
wanting
Asking forgiveness.
Asking for forgiveness. You put money in the good one, didn't you?
I feel like we need to make them good.
Anyone last week looked at Grove? The fiber optic. That's why it's there. And it's the paperwork went right into the grower for the security system, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes. Had someone else asking the same question, how to do this. So that'd be good. They run, are they gonna get on the agenda?
Item C, Phoenix Coal Company informational. We're seeking a bond release, phase 2 bond release. Northwest or section 13, township 25 north, range 17 east, Nowata County, 96.9 acres. Item D, discuss and take action, Resolution 19-162, donation for the sheriff's office. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners accept the following donation from John Mock on behalf of the county to be used for sheriff's office needs. 2 pipe insulation and 1 duct tape. Motion to accept. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
You can always use duct tape. Okay. Item E, Bill Turner presenting the final balanced budget, which will be Wednesday at, what did you say, 9:30? 9:30. Will that be in conjunction with the excise?
He wanted to
or right
give you
before?
guys, he wanted to give you guys an hour to have any questions or anything like that before we went into the excise board meeting. So that's why the time difference.
Will that be held in here or behind Kay's office?
He is here, but doesn't Kay's the conference room in Kay's office, so they were all in a neutral location. But if you guys would prefer, we can.
Yeah, that's what.
Where, I guess the question would be, once he presents it, are we gonna be making decisions on it then, or is that gonna come later?
It depends, right now, what we've got is we've got a consensus. All of the officials have been given a copy of what he's come up with the balanced budget. They've had a chance to look at it and work together and make their own adjustments. So from my understanding with all of the elected officials, it's balanced, and so we're ready to present to the commission. And then if there's any adjustments or questions, then we'll move from that point on. But if everybody's in an agreement that they can live with their budgets, then he'll have it ready to sign and move forward. Well, like we did last year, everybody comes with their own department and work it within their own. They did a good job. But with the only, I asked him to come in today, and he said that we have to understand, we turned in our budgets later. We had several departments that turned in their budgets very late. And so he's already started the schools, and by statute, they have to have their budgets done by September, so that way we can get their numbers. And so Wednesday was the first chance he could get them to get to us because of that. Or in the past, we've been first in line.
So we're gonna recess until Wednesday.
I would appreciate that.
If it's appropriate for, or okay with the other two, we'll just recess and reconvene on Wednesday. We're not doing it right now, but reconvene at 9:30 in the commissioner's office across the street because the excise board's meeting is already scheduled to be there at 10:30, so that would save moving, going from here to over there, or having them come over here, we'll just all be over there, and we'll all be in the same place. But,
Right. That's fine, I understand that.
just, we have more room here.
Yeah.
If there's issues or problems, is what.
I sent out the final email that I got from Bill Turner to all of the elected officials, or anybody who's dealing with this budget, including the 3 to you guys. And so, and I asked them if they had any issues or any problems, please let me know. And I have watch that email every day, and most of what I've got response back was that they've received it, they didn't have a problem, and so, without them saying anything, we're at them stating we have a full balance budget. We got her done. So, I talked to, now, the only one I did make an exception for was, I did catch April outside because her schedule's a little different than ours, and it's dictated by somebody else. So I talked to her, and she was fine with it as it stood. She just wanted to be able to make sure that she could do what she needed to do. And we explained that we went back to the original agreements from what we had last year. Because we do have a $40,000, $50,000 deficit. And one of the areas that we did have to make an adjustment on the collection side was that we were saying that we would collect $10,000 more than what we did last year. Lynn will have to be able to help me out on that one, but we adjusted that down to hopefully we collect what we got last year on that.
On back taxes.
Yeah, and as we all are very, very well aware, when it came to June last year, it was a tough month. And we'd like to not have a replay of that.
You said there's a $40,000 deficit?
It's $40,000 less than what we had the year before.
Just for, one more backtrack. I think just for the purpose of having enough room, I'd rather have it here. I think what we did last year is the excise board, did you not convene and then recessed and moved over here? That way we're only moving 3 people, 4 people from over there to over here, and that gives room for all the officials to be in here in this room, and if anybody else wants to be here.
That'd be more appropriate.
Let's do it that way. Is that good for everyone?
I'll just have that over there. Bring them over.
They can start and then recess to reconvene over here.
Doug, the deficit, is that because revenues are down or because expenditures are up?
It's the carryover, so, you know, we didn't collect over what was projected, so what we start with is less than the previous year's carryover. However,
Both.
huh?
Both.
Yeah, and revenue's down too.
Okay. All right. So, we're not do nothing with E just yet.
Yes, sir.
Put it at the bottom. Item 7, request for appropriation of funds. 911 phone fees, $7,679.30. Assessor revolving fee, $167. County clerk lien fee, $228.
Well, I guess we're wrong, we're gonna work on this, but I know the County E911 Trust Authority was formed last week. I know Lynn graciously volunteered to be the treasurer on that. But does the funds need to be transferred?
My understanding, the auditors told Chris to wait on that until they figured out all of the proper ways to make the transfer.
And they've, since you and I spoke, they've gotten a hold of Ashley, and we're waiting on Ashley to give us. Yep.
County clerk records management and preservation, $690. Resale property, $5,550.87. Sheriff Commissary, $2,839.47. Sheriff's Service fee, $9,239.75. Treasurer mortgage certification, $160. County donations, $285. Use tax, $10,875.31. Courthouse improvement, $2,007.98. General government, $14,055.87. Road and bridges, $40,159.61. %, $6,023.94. Roads and bridges, $18,071.83. Court clerk revolving, $449.85.
Well, Commissioner Fiddle did what he said he'd do. They trimmed the tree that was branching over into the Methodist church. This tree is on the county courthouse parking lot. So last week our news was the county was branching into religion, but no more. Reporting from the County Commission meeting for your television station, for Marcus Yersa and KGCT, hey, the only media in Nowata, this is Doug.